Good evening. The television and radio stations of the United States and their affiliated stations are proud to provide facilities for a discussion of issues in the current political campaign by the two major candidates for the presidency. The candidates need no introduction. The Republican candidate, Vice President Richard M. Nixon, and the Democratic candidate, Senator John F. Kennedy.
Welcome to And That's History, where we explore the moments that shaped our world. Today, we're diving into a significant event in U.S. political history, the first televised presidential debate. This historic event changed the way Americans engage with politics, and its influence is still felt today, as we saw in the June 2024 presidential debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Let's take a closer look.
$10 billion a year more than we're presently spending. Now, does this mean that his program is better than ours? Not at all. Because it isn't a question of how much the federal government spends. It isn't a question of which government does the most. It's a question of which administration does the right thing.
I think it will depend in great measure upon what we do here in the United States, on the kind of society that we build, on the kind of strength that we maintain. We discussed tonight domestic issues, but I would not want that to be any implication to be given that this does not involve directly our struggle with Mr. Khrushchev for survival.
It was September 26, 1960, when Vice President Richard Nixon faced off against Senator John F. Kennedy in the first ever televised presidential debate. Nearly 70 million Americans tuned in to watch, marking a turning point in political communication. Before this, debates were a radio affair, where appearance didn't matter, just your voice. But on that night, everything changed. Kennedy appeared calm, confident, and telegenic, while Nixon, who was recovering from a knee injury and refused makeup, looked tired and visibly uncomfortable. The visual contrast between the two candidates was stark. For those who listened on the radio, Nixon was the winner, but for the millions who watched on television, Kennedy emerged as the clear victor. This was a wake-up call to politicians. The image you project on screen can make or break your campaign. Fast forward to the year 2024, another pivotal debate in the history of U.S. politics, the first presidential debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden during their rematch election. The stakes were high, as both candidates faced intense scrutiny over their policies and personalities. Like the Nixon-Kennedy debate, where one candidate's appearance overshadowed the substance of the discussion, the Trump-Biden debate was marked by the stage presence of the two candidates and their ability to relay information. This 2024 debate, like its predecessors, was a media spectacle. While less about their appearance, this debate still highlighted viewers' confidence in the candidates. Joe Biden in particular was largely considered to have lost the debate. In online commentaries and opinion pieces, Biden's age and physical appearance were remarked on again and again. His campaign even stated that Biden's fatigue was a reason why he underperformed. Indeed, Biden suspended his campaign less than a month later and endorsed his vice president, Kamala Harris.
With the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, we're going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. He never fired people. I've never seen him fire anybody. I did fire a lot. I fired Comey because he was no good. I fired a lot of the top people at the FBI, drained the swamp. They were no good. This guy hasn't fired anybody. He's the worst president.
So, how do these two debates compare? The Nixon-Kennedy debate was a lesson in the power of television and appearance, and the 2024 debate between Biden and Trump show us that appearance and stage presence still mean a lot in our political discourses. In fact, debates over the past 60 years have managed to help sink more than Nixon's or Biden's campaigns for president.
92, George H.W. Bush deliberately looks at his watch and he pays for it when the audience and voters see it as disrespectful.
There's differences.
Body language makes a difference in the debate between Al Gore and George W. Bush as well. Gore sighs over and over.
Presidential debates have evolved from simple, straightforward exchanges to complex media events. The Nixon-Kennedy debate taught us that a candidate's image on television can sway millions, while the Trump-Biden debates remind us that in the digital age, every moment, every word, and every gesture is dissected and analyzed. Over the decades, debates have reflected the technological and cultural shifts of their times. From radio to television and now to the internet and social media, each medium has changed the way candidates present themselves and how voters perceive them. The first televised debate in 1960 marked the beginning of a new era in American politics, where image became as important as words. In 2024, we see the culmination of decades of evolution in political communication. The way debates are conducted, consumed, and critiqued has fundamentally changed, but one thing remains the same. They continue to be a crucial platform for candidates to connect with voters. As we look back on these historic debates, we see not just a reflection of the candidates, but a reflection of ourselves, our values, and the times we live in. I think it is safe to say that American politics is just as much about perception as it is policy. And that's history.